Well, hi, all. Looks like we are live. I am Dana Dubois, and this is I Write Out Loud, my corner of Substack for creative nonfiction writing. For those of us who are still in mid flight in life. How's that for a tagline? There's everyone. I do love how there's always this strange delay. Hold on, I'm scrolling to see who's here. Oh my gosh, so many people. Hi, hi, hi. It is wonderful to see all of you. Boy, my hair is crazy. I'm getting it redone, but not till the 10th. So I'm dealing with very unruly hair these days. Hi Linnea. Hi Jay. Hi everybody. I saw a bunch of names pop in. And hi Lynette. I'm so glad that you all are here. The little boop is here and she is ready for her nature Naws. One day someone from whatever company owns Nature Naws is gonna be on my live and they're gonna be like, what a fabulous spokeswoman and spokesdog. We're going to give you all our money to support to sponsor your work because our show is sponsored by Nature Does. There you go. Um, it is lovely to see all of you. How is everybody doing today? Let's just start off with the basics. Kira is ready. The poor dear went to doggy daycare today while I was at work, and she hates the doggy daycare. They always tell me she is, what do they say? Exit seeking. She's always trying to leave. But I can't just leave her home alone all day. And so it's one of the things she has to do sometimes. But she's very happy to be home. And you know what? I poured myself water. Hang on one second. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to be right back. There it is. Uh-huh. It is it is a hot day in Seattle. It's very sunny and beautiful, but I am warm. So I want to make sure I have some water here. I'm trying to make a point of drinking more water because I kind of live on hot tea and exhaustion. That's kind of what keeps me going. Good. I'm glad you're still here. Um, I'm going to open up the chat over here on my laptop so that I can see what you all are writing better. Hi, Shayla. Um, Fun fact, Lawrence and I are going to be on Shayla and Jason's podcast next Monday, the 1st, and it's called The Price is Retro. We're going to be playing like a Price is Right game against one another. Lawrence and I are. So mark your calendars. I think it's at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, just like this show. That should be a really fun one. We do not know what we have gotten ourselves in for, but we're up for adventure. So it should be fun. And there's Jason now. Hi. Hello, all. Okay. I've said hi to everyone in the chat. Why don't you all weigh in and tell me how your days are going? And you can be honest. You can be like, today sucks. Today's amazing. And I will tell you how my day is going as well. I will read Dana and Lawrence are in for some good spirited fun. I'll try to dress up as the kid who stayed home from school sick. So I'll be on the couch with some, I don't know, Jello pudding pops or something. Oh, your one and only granddaughter turned 2 years old today. That is a wonderful day, Shayla. Thank you for sharing that. Happy birthday. Today was 3 weeks long. It feels that way a bit. And this is the next wave. The day just keeps coming. It's kind of funny. Hold on. I put my ballot in a drop-off box today for the California primary. Okay, Linnea, congrats. That's amazing. I love that. Hang on. Ooh, Aaron, I'm sorry. Colonoscopy prep. That is not fun. I was going to make a joke and say it's shitty. I guess I just did. But we've, by a certain age, we've all been there if we're taking care of our bodies. So good for you for taking care of yours. The procedure itself is just like a really nice nap. So you have that to look forward to. It's just the prep that's really hard. I've only had one, and when it was a few years ago now, and when I did it, I spent the evening watching Schitt's Creek. I'd never seen it. And I thought it was funny because that's my sense of humor that I was like, this seems like a great opportunity to watch Schitt's Creek. So perhaps you could do that tonight. It entertained me immensely. Um, yeah, that's that. You make a plan for lunch afterward. No kidding. I see lots of hearts coming in, which I really appreciate. If you all wouldn't mind clicking the heart, it definitely triggers to Substack that this is a live worth watching, and more people will join us, which would be great. I am kind of in the mood for like a big party. I'm in a good mood, and I'm really happy to be here. Have been looking forward to this live all day. So the more the merrier, I say. In fact, I'm going to put a few hearts too. I think that's like wearing your own band's t-shirt, but I don't even care. I don't even care that my hair is all frizzy and overgrown and my part is crooked. I maybe hopped out of, you know, I came home from work and was like, I need to take a hot bath. And just before the next phase, which is this. And I always take too long of hot baths, so I kind of was rushing here. Apologies that I was a couple minutes late. Oh, Jason, you hope to meet a grandchild. All of my godchildren have kids, 5 girls, 1 boy, and now they're all grown up. Wonderful. I love that. Oh, and Shayla's wearing her new Fuck Trump shirt from Lawrence's shop. Amazing. Oh, Jason, you got her one of those shirts. Post a photo, Shayla. I want to see which color palette you got and how it looks on. I very much like the design on that Fuck Trump t-shirt on Lawrence's shop. It is super cute. The cut of the t-shirt isn't quite right on me, but I wear it anyways because the design is so good. I jumped in the shower. I told you I wondered if I had time for a show, but it was shower. Okay, Lynette. Well, I'm glad you had time and that you have made it here. We are going to be talking. Oh, you guys, we've got a double pet situation here. My orange kitty is very shy and it does not usually show himself, but there he is. That's Kispin. Kira is awaiting another treat, right? Is that what you want? You want another treat? Oh, look at those eyes. How can I resist? So we're here to talk about an essay of mine, the weekly I Write Out Loud essay. I will get a link in just a moment. First, we make a sacrifice to the god dog so that she will be quiet. Yeah, the kitty has found a sunspot. It really is quite sunny and lovely here today. Let me go get the link to my essay. It is called How I Learned Not to Date Down. And I have many thoughts on this essay, and it has gotten many comments. There is the link. If you have not yet read it, you can do that while I ramble for the next few minutes and get caught up. And if you have read it, I would love to hear in the chat what you thought about it. And especially if you have had any similar experiences. With that, I will say, I write out loud. I'm just going to do my spiel about I write out loud. This is my home for memoir and creative nonfiction writing. I love writing memoir, but I think my memoir is a little different than other writers in that I am always connecting dots between the personal and what's happening in a broader cultural and political space. And because I'm the person writing it, it all is very focused on people like me who are in midlife and mid-flight is the phrase that keeps coming to mind. I'm still working on this language of how I'm going to eventually redo my website to give a more succinct "Who am I" statement. But many of us here, I know, we have not yet arrived. We still are very vital and living our lives and have creative, personal, professional ambitions that we are trying to meet. And so many of my essays, I'd say probably all of them, are around that theme. And the one that we're here to talk about today is obviously around dating and relationships. And I have found that by my age, I'm 55, by my age, many people, and especially women, have just said no. They're just done. And I fully respect that wish to opt out. There's a sense of like, I want to protect my peace. I like my independence. a variety of reasons. And part of it too is I think just that it's such a shit show out there. It's hard for everyone, but the older women get, especially, the numbers are not in our favor. And I'm not just making that up. That is a well proven fact. But as part of living out loud and as a part of still being in mid flight, I am very much hoping to eventually find a partner. And so I keep stubbornly going back to the well, right? Even as I know it comes it's an emotional hit, it's a bandwidth hit, it's hard. But this essay is talking about a really specific phenomenon that I noted, and we're going to jump into that in a minute. What I will say is if you are also someone who is living in mid flight, if you get insights or get entertained from reading my essays, I would welcome your support. I Write Out Loud does have a paid subscriber level, and right now it is at introductory pricing. It is only $4 a month, $40 for a year, and that pricing is going to be rolling off. I have a note with a little calendar on it, but the $4 a month pricing will roll off next week. This is the final week where I will have that lowered daily, or sorry, not daily, monthly amount. So if that is a way that would be accessible for you, now would be a very good time to take advantage. I'm going to leave up the $40 annual subscription a little while longer, probably a few more weeks. And then pricing will go up. So if you have the means and you would like to support the work that I am doing here, I would welcome you as a paid subscriber. Paid subscribers have access to the Sunday Salon, which is an intimate live gathering where we kind of click down a level deeper into these stories. I share some more behind the scenes tea or just insights that I'm not comfortable sharing in a public forum. And we're really building a lovely community over there. So would love to have you join us. And that is my pitch. I will now get into the story. Dana, maybe block. Oh, hold on. Is there someone here? Hold on a moment. Oh, Mark Donald, you have tremendous attraction in my beautiful profile. You would love to be my friend. Okay. Okay, Mr. Patriotic. Oh, it does say impeach Trump. I will give you your props for that. But um, Mark, how about this? We are no more of that, please. If you do it again, you're booted. Because and only because you haven't impeached Trump in your image, otherwise you'd already be booted. So thank you for calling that to my attention, everyone. Let me know if I miss anything. And yes, that is all I will say. He has no profile. I see that. It's pretty blank. Um, he is subscribed to me and someone named Hannah, and that's it. That's a little weird, but okay, Mark. My dog is freaking out. Maybe that's a sign. Okay, as long as he stays quiet, I don't care. He can stay. But you've been warned, Mark. Okay, let's come back to the story. I am going to put it in here. And also, so I've been left a little bit. I always post my stories on Monday morning. So this one's been up for a few days and it has gotten some really interesting comments that we may jump into if we have time. I also wrote an essay for Blue Amp Media over the weekend, and it went live today. So I didn't know what day they were going to post it live, and it has gotten a tremendous response. So I may talk about that one a little, but I think I may save that for Sunday and try to stay focused. We'll see how long this conversation goes on for. But if you have not yet read it, I am going to share the link to the story that I wrote. It's not the oh wait, it's not on the top of their page. I never know what they're doing there. Oh, it's all the way down here. Okay. This one is less personal essay and more political essay, and it is me tying together two stories that have been in the news, but I have not heard them tied together. And it's called "America Isn't Underbabied; It's Motherless." I believe most of you probably heard Dr. Oz a few weeks ago saying that we were under-babied in the US. And it's interesting, that was kind of the guiding direction of this essay. It was like a top 8 reasons why, of course, we're under-babied, because this is why America is hostile to women and families. Um, and then I saw on Substack, I think it was Linda Carroll who posted about it. She's a really great writer. That the Motherless website was back online. And I verified. I Googled it, and it is up active again. You all may remember from maybe a month ago, CNN broke a big story about Motherless because they were the ones with the sleep porn content, which is there were about 20,000 videos posted by men dragging their wives and girlfriends and raping them and sharing the videos as sleep porn. The site got taken down, and that made the news. CNN wrote about it. Other places, there was a lot of public outcry. Very quietly, it is back online, and I have only seen a story on Dutch news because it was on a Dutch server. They're the ones who kicked it off. I assume they just moved to another country, but the only other news I could find about that so far is on like Substack and Reddit. It's not on mainstream news. So this was me tying it together because I loved the use of the word motherless there. It's just yet another example of why women don't feel safe having babies right now. Like, we're watching the predators, from the Epstein files walk away with no consequences. Same with these men of motherless and the company that's hosting these videos, no consequences. So we're motherless because we are an inhospitable environment to women and young families. So would love your feedback on that story as well. That link is in here. How can it be porn if we are not sure it is consensual? Well, it's on a porn website. It's a sexual act, and men are watching it. So, I mean, it's porn, but yeah, it is presumably not consensual by design. And some of the women have pressed charges against their now ex-husbands and won. So, and there's like a whole community there. I won't dig into that too deeply, but it's truly just despicable. It is, yes, Julie, if you're unconscious, it's not consensual. The only thing that theoretically could be, and I don't think it is they could be actors, right? It could be people make porn of, people who are pretending to be unconscious, but I don't think that that's what this is. No, I don't know for sure. But let's not talk about that story just yet. Let's talk about this, how I learned not to date down. And yes, Lynette, it is absolutely a rape channel. There's a community of, I think it reported like about 1,000 men who are all like friends, and they buy drugs from each other and they teach each other how to do it. So there's no question in my mind that that's what this is. It's pretty awful. So, topic shift. Oh, good. I think my dog is finally calming down. So that's good. So this story, this how I learned not to date down. This is it's a story that I wrote a couple of years ago. And some of you may have seen it either on Medium or on Substack last year. I think I posted it to what was then called Gen XC, back when the Daily Whatever show had that name, and we posted content. But this is me migrating all of my articles to one home, all of my essays. And this is one of my favorite essays. I love the shit out of this essay. And it's kind of funny that this random one-off online date has become this iconic to me essay that he has no idea about. That amuses me a lot. So, where this essay is really going is into this idea of negging. Are you all familiar with the verb neg, neg? It's not the same as nag. It is men. I don't actually know the full definition, but it is generally done from men to women, and it's men who are putting women down to kind of wear them down. Negging, here's the definition on Wikipedia. To neg, meaning negative feedback, is an act of emotional feedback. No, it's an act of emotional manipulation whereby a person makes a deliberate backhanded compliment or otherwise flirtatious remark to another person to undermine their confidence and attempt to engender in them a need for the manipulator's approval. The term was coined and prescribed by pickup artists. Negging is often viewed as a straightforward insult rather than as a pickup line, in spite of the fact that proponents of the technique traditionally stress it is not an insult. So, uh, perhaps let me walk through the story a little bit because I don't know how much, if you have all read this. This was me a couple years ago dating online. It was right before I discovered the burned haystack dating method, and we're going to come back to that because it's relevant in this context. And those of you who've been keeping up with my work will know, I, went on a few dates with these men who I thought I was going to be very attracted to. They didn't end up going anywhere. And um, I think I kind of hit a point where I was like, oh, I should give some men a chance who I otherwise maybe wouldn't have, just be like, this person seems all right. Let's give a chance and see what's happening. And what I came to find that this date is showing in full narrative format is that I found men who were mean, which is very babyish language for a writer like me. But I blurt that out in this essay when I have a conversation about what I've been up against with my dear friend Sunny. And I say, I don't like it feels almost intentional that men are just being mean to me, and I don't understand why. And the story of Sven, who this essay is about, Sven was not his real name, and it was not his fake name either. Or his name on his profile was something else. It was Steven, and he said, "But I'd like if you'd call me Sven." That should have been my first warning, and I was like, "Okay, Sven, I don't know you. You can tell me your name is whatever you want." So I didn't think that much of his profile, but we had a phone conversation. He didn't like texting. He was 5 years older than me, and it sounds dumb because I've definitely dated men who were 5, 6, 7 years older than me, but he felt older. He just felt a bit, I don't wanna say boomerish because I know people who are boomers who are cool. He just was a little like, "I don't like texting," He culturally felt older. And he was pretty wrinkled. Like his face looked older because he did a lot of outdoor activities. So between those two, he did feel older, but I was like, give him a chance. We hopped on the phone at his request, and I was like, wow, that was just like a sparkling conversation. Like he was super smart and bright and like repartee. And I was like, wow, I think this is like an equal. I'm kind of excited to meet this guy. Um, and he said something like, "Even if we don't hit off romantically, I know we're gonna be friends because, like, we get along so well." And I was like, "Absolutely. Let's do this." So we meet and we, walk around Green Lake. Now, Green Lake is an urban park, here in Seattle, in the north end of Seattle. It's almost 3 miles to walk the circumference, and it's in kind of a posh neighborhood, and there's cafes and stuff around the rim of the lake, and it's just common exercise. People go walk around Green Lake. It's lovely, and we were there on a really gray, cool, like almost drizzly day, so it was pretty quiet. Um, and we meet and we start talking, and I'm like, typical kind of nervous me meeting somebody new. I'm talking a lot, and I'm sure I said, "Oh, I'm talking a lot," as we were circumnavigating the lake. But I thought things were going like pretty well. I wasn't like, "Oh my God, this guy's amazing. We're totally hitting it off." But I was like, "Okay, I think this is going all right." We make it one lap around the lake. And then he says, "Do you want to go around again?" And I was like, "Wow, 6 miles, huh? Okay." Not really wearing shoes for that, but sure, I'm enjoying this conversation. Let's go around the lake again. And as soon as we start going around the lake the second time, he drops this conversation bomb that I put in the essay where he says something about like, well, if a conversation is good, if we're having a real conversation, it's great. And I was like, oh, are we having a real conversation? Which obviously we were. And he was like, not really. You're not asking me any questions about me. You're just talking about yourself. And that's not a real conversation. And it like kind of went for the jugular because I am self-conscious about the fact that I talk a lot. I'm here narrating this. I'm the only one talking, right? It's one of my superpowers. I like to talk a lot, and I have a lot to say. But I was like, I try to be really aware of that and to turn take. Um, but I was kind of gobsmacked enough, and this is why negging works, that I took the blame and I was like, oh, I need to try to make up for that. And like what I should have done, like narrator Dana wants to go into Dana in the story and be like, "Hey, you just went around the lake once. Just double back like that, 200 feet that you walked. Get in your car and go home." But I didn't. I walked the rest of the way around the lake with him, and I was like, "Wow, I didn't really think I liked." Like I wasn't like madly in love with him. I wasn't or anything like that. But I thought he was a good guy and would be an interesting person to know. And so, like, it just, kind of locked me down. I was like, I guess it's my fault." I have that in the essay. This is totally my fault. Is this really my fault? Like, I have that voice in my head. Um, and it wasn't the first time that I had encountered a guy who I barely knew like this, who I kind of like slammed a door in my face that I was like, wow, why did that just happen? Like I barely know this person and I'm not hurt about them, but it stings, right? To be criticized like that. And I have since learned that this is a form of negging. It's an emotional manipulation to intentionally put women um like on their what's that expression? Like on your back foot so that you are defensive and off, right? Um, and I also think that um, this comes up in the conversation when I'm talking to Sunny that there are men who just sort of get off on putting women down, especially like accomplished women. It's simply a thing. And in this essay, I am processing in real time with Sunny these disparate experiences that all come under this cohesive heading. And what Sunny said that seemed like that hit me just like, oh my gosh, you're right, was this idea of um, you're dating down data. These men are not your equals and they know it. And it's not safe. They're going to be mean to you if you need to be dating your equal. To which I was like, okay, but I'm trying to do that and I'm not having any success. I'm trying to open myself up to other men, other opportunities. And she was like, you're overcorrecting, Dana. And this is what's going to happen. You're going to get hurt because they are going to kind of try to take you out like they've been doing. I'm gonna pop over to the chat because I'm realizing I haven't popped it on the chat. Oh, there's a lot more people here. Hi, everybody. Let me come up here and thank you for putting the link in, Lynette. I'm going to come down from here. And Lynette, this is so sweet how you're greeting everybody. I appreciate that. It's so nice. The mad philosopher says, don't second guess yourself. That's just a rude thing to say to someone you just met, full stop. Yeah, it was. And it was in a conversation stopping way. And I reference a couple other stories or men in the story um, who did likewise kind of belligerent things like, oh, well, I'm just not attracted to you. I thought I could overlook, but I can't. That it was like, you don't have to say that. Even if it's true, you don't have to be attracted to me. But like it felt very like intentionally trying to do harm. Mm. That's his own insecurity. Perhaps he had nothing interesting to say. Well, that was the interesting thing, Aaron. It was that I'm just going to call you Aaron because that's how I read that. Is that afterward, when I thought back on it, I was like, I know so much about this man. I know about his job. I know about his hobbies. I know about his kids. I know where he lives. Like, I know some of his just stories. Like, it was absolutely a conversation. I did not monologue at him. Maybe he felt like he wanted more of the conversation space, but um, yeah, it was, I think he heard me say, I'm probably talking too much. When I get nervous, I talk too much. And whether consciously or not, kind of jumped on it. And let me see here. I'm reading comments. I think I missed some of the comments from above because I see someone saying, "I'm sorry that happened to you, Jason," and I missed what happened there. I know you had commented on the story, Jason, that you had a similar one and could relate. And I saw someone, I think it was the Maggie, say, "This is so true that this had happened." Yep, manipulative behavior. I'm scrolling back up here to see what I missed. Um, yeah, I'm not seeing it. I'm curious if anyone in the chat has had something similar happen to them. Have you ever have you ever been on a date or in a relationship with someone who um, kind of put you in your place and put you down to elevate themselves, especially if there was a power imbalance in your relationship? Um, Hold on, let me see here. It's not always second guessing when conversing with a new person. We are allowing for the fact that we may be misunderstanding the sentiment behind their statements. Yeah, that is true. Um, Callie, I've had similar happen many times. It's awful. And I do the same thing, realize I didn't react to protect myself appropriately quickly enough. Yeah, it really throws you off your game, right? Because we women, I think in general, are socialized to be empathetic. And so when someone comes forward and is like, you're doing this thing that's making me uncomfortable, we take that seriously, right? I did. I left that feeling like really like the ick everywhere. Um, and blaming myself. Oh, there it is. The Maggie saying, oh, yes, many times this has happened. My ex husband would say he supports me, but then he would sabotage me. Oh, well, if you were married to him, that's way worse. Sorry that happened to you, Sarah. Let me see here. Going out to a work function, my ex explicitly lectured me to keep my mouth shut. Wow. Um, I'm sorry. That's tough. That is not great. And Kelly, yes, we want to give people the benefit of the doubt. We want to assume positive intent, especially if there was a connection. Like I told you, I had a phone conversation with Sven, and it was a great conversation. Like intellectually, it was just he was super sharp. He had a British accent, which I really like, and yeah, we got along great. And he was all like, "We are going to be friends, whether we date or not." And I was like, "Absolutely! Like, I need more creative, cool, interesting people in my life." Nope. Um, Amy, I wrote about it in hindsight. He was insecure because I had more money than he did. This is Amy. We should talk. So this happens. Yes, I have several examples in my life of men who I was dating either like pretty seriously or just, just at the start where the fact that I made more money than them was a huge blocker, not for me, for them. And um, it's really interesting. Our dating pool is so small, as like, at least I feel that way for me at my age and sort of my stage of life. Um, Income is one of those things that I have always been flexible with. I fall in love for love, not money. I date for love, not money. And thinking of one guy, boy, he was terrible. I've written this much about him before. He was always putting me down. He was a real big neg, though I didn't know it then. It's a hindsight thing. But he was very broke. I think I made 3 or 4 times more money than he did, and I was very clear that I did not care about it. And he led with like, I love that you're a strong woman and you got your act together and things are so great. And I want our kids to meet right away. And they did. And we were going to be like this happy couple, family, blah, 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 blah. But he would do things like we would go out somewhere. He was also vegan. So that was always, a thing. And it was fine. I would cook vegan food for him. And if we would go out together, I would order vegan food. I don't mind. But I remember going out to dinner with him more than once or being at a show and like being like, oh, I haven't had dinner yet and sitting down. And he would not order. He wouldn't tell me he was going to do that. He'd be like, yeah, that's fine. Let's go out. And then he'd sit at the table and be like, no, you get something. I don't need anything because he couldn't afford to eat. And I was like, oh, I'll totally get it. I don't mind. Like, order something. And he wouldn't. And it was weird. And in hindsight now, knowing more about how our relationship ended very badly, it was a punishment for me, right? Like, I don't want to sit at a table, like eating and like watching my date across from me be hungry and not eat because they don't have money. And also, I wasn't allowed to pick up the tab. And also, he wouldn't say anything before we left. Like, I would have been happy eating at home or going to a less expensive place. But um, it was done intentionally to try to undermine, I think. Um, so, yes, money comes up often. And um, yeah, it's as I now don't, well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, one of my most recent relationships ended with him spiraling out about money. Um, I try not to let it get in the way, but I also acknowledge as I meet someone that I'm like, if we are not close to peers in terms of where our lives are financially and professionally, this will not go well because you will take it out on me. That's a form of dating down that doesn't work. Men get defensive, has been my experience. I would love to know what your experiences have been like. And I tragically don't tend to date men who make more money than I do. If you know any like rich, hot 50-something men in Seattle with big brains who are really kind, you can send them my way. I'm teasing. But yeah, the really wealthy guys, they don't want to date me either because they tend to date a lot younger and hotter in my experience. Let me see here. I'm trying to figure out where we left off. Uh, okay, here's where we left off. This is talking about weather, and there's Amy saying she wrote about it. Does it count if my ex told our friends that the best thing he ever did was get Shayla her master's degree? Ew. That's weird. I don't know how he got you the master's degree. That's weird. Did he go to class for you? Did he do your projects for you? Because that would be a pretty spectacular and strange relationship, wouldn't it? We should never aspire to being prepared to attack. They would love us. They would love for us to regress to their tactics. Yeah, that's a good comment, June and July. Thank you. Jason says, is it weird? I've redated several of the women I dated in the 80s after the divorce. No, I think that happens a lot. People reconnect with people they knew when they were younger because you have a continuity of life. You knew them and they knew you when you were young and pretty. So, no, I get that. Amy says maybe we are dating the same men. I mean, I'm sure they're the same men, even if they're not the same men, right? Um, let's see. Jason says, when I became self-employed, my ex demanded to know how I spent each day in my office because obviously working from home isn't working. I was making 6 figures at the time. Oof, I'm sorry. That's rough, Jason. My best guy was in the late 90s. Everyone else was abusive. Oh, I'm sorry. That's awful. I'm sorry. Amy says, that's what happened to me too. Met his daughter. He met my son. Yeah. Men who'd bring the kids in, like that's a form of commit bombing. Remember my word from like 2 months ago, commit bombing, when they're like, we're gonna be, I want you to meet the kids and da da da. I wait so long until I introduce my kids to someone I'm dating. It's rarely happened. And um, I mean, they wouldn't even care anymore. They're 16 and 18, but it's just like, nope, it's separate until I really feel like I can like put my feet down and things feel solid. I don't let that get rushed. Um, he'd probably be an asshole regardless of who made more money. Yes. Oh, Amy, my guy ordered whatever he wanted and I paid. I know it wouldn't have lasted. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know what would, I mean, that would get old too, I suppose, but the being forced to sort of just sit there and be like, mm-hmm. And then I would still order vegan food because I'd be like, have some. And I'd be like sort of talking him into being like on a date and having a meal with me. It was like just thinking back about it just gives me the creeps. I also had a guy I was dating tell me that because I owned a home and had a corporate job that he didn't think our values were aligned. And I was like, what? Like the fact that I have kept my home intact and my children well homed and cared for on my own now for 14 years. Back then it hasn't been that long, but like that's a real major source of pride for me. And that is my value, like that I have been able to do that. So yeah, I don't know that this is going to work, but he meant it more as a like, I'm some corporatist asshole, which I was like, okay, what? So that was, he was a very gentle, good person, I think, but that was a relationship extinction comment, I think. Um, let me see here. Did I already read I thanked him with divorce papers, Shayla? That's a good line. The Maggie says, a good friend with self-esteem issues has an on-again, off-again man who loves to attack me at social events in a failing attempt to put me down. He's an awful womanizer who demeans women who do not kiss his ass. Well, I'm glad he's not your guy, that he's your friend's guy, but that sucks. I'm just the type of guy who has to pay for everything or I'm just not going to go, LOL. Um, oh, and now Shayla is a badass with a PhD. See, that's the guy you want, Shayla, someone who calls you a badass, not who takes credit for your work. That is wonderful. Um, let me see here. The Maggie says, I have had so many colleagues undermine me once they realize how knowledgeable and influential I can be. Yep. Um, all of these, all of these can happen. And it is all on the same continuum, right? I learned the hard way that when a man badmouths his ex, he was the problem, not the ex. Oh, that is so true. So I can see we're getting close to the top of the hour. So I want to shift gears and say this essay was written shortly before I dove in to the burned haystack dating method. I think you all have heard me talk about this before. It was invented by a professor of rhetoric named Jenny Young, and she is on Substack. All of her long form writing is on Substack. She just published a book, and she has hundreds of thousands of women on social media following her for online dating wisdom. I was going to say advice, but that's not quite the right word. It's more like wisdom. And her philosophy is everyone is steering you wrong by telling you to give men a chance. It's a time waster. Yeah, you've been in the Facebook group for a couple of years. Same, Amy. This story is from 2024. So I think I had just joined the Facebook group, but I had when this was happening, but I hadn't quite absorbed it. My friend Sunny is the one who told me about it, the one I have dinner with in this essay. So um, I'm not going to summarize the entirety of it, but the lore of it is she's about my age. She was online dating, having a miserable time, um, giving all these men chances and being ghosted and blah, 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 all the things. And she Googled, how do I find my needle in a haystack? And Google came back with, you have to burn all of the hay. That's the only way to find the needle. And so her philosophy is you don't give men chances who don't deserve them. And she has this whole suite of rhetorical patterns to look for, both in a man's profile and in the messages he first sends, and then just in real life, that if a man is acting in this way or saying these things, it's not just the actions, but it's the behavior behind them that is indicating a broader pattern that will be not fun to date. Hi, Ashley. I'm glad you made it. And so I'm now trying to think back on this. Oh, I know what it was. Before I met this Sven gentleman, when we were talking on the phone, he said, I can't remember the line now because I didn't put in the essay, but he said something about not looking for anything serious, even though his profile indicated he was looking for a long-term relationship. And I remember talking to Sunny about it, and she was like, Dana, don't go on this date. This guy's all over the place. And if he's telling you this already, then don't go on the date. You know you're looking for somebody. And I was like, well, give a chance, blah, blah, blah. I don't know that that's a rhetorical pattern. That's just a block for her that she's like, if you are looking for a serious monogamous long-term partner, as I am, like, don't meet up with men who are inconsistent about whether or not they want a partner. And that was one of the, we kind of like talked about that as we were walking around the lake. It may have even been a precursor to him negging me, was me calling him out and saying like, well, your profile says you're looking for a long-term relationship. And he was like, well, but I can write whatever I want in there. And once you learn the rhetorical patterns, you cannot unsee them. That is true. So the meta story of Burnt Haystack though was the closing down of, let's give him a chance. And instead saying my time is extremely valuable. And unless he is meeting this bar, I'm not going to continue this conversation. Of course, I have violated it. I have a whole essay about it. The guy I dated who came after this, led with a huge test and apologize. That essay is called Dating the Test and Apologize Type. It's a very funny essay in terms of what happened. That would be one of the men who went on to freak out about money and leave at the end. So I don't regret the relationship. I cared about this person a lot. There was a lot of good there, but in hindsight, that bar was never met. He failed consistently at being a consistent person. So these rhetorical patterns really matter. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So, once you learn them, you can't unlearn them. I should probably write an essay that's like the patterns that have mattered the most to me and what they've meant. Some of them are outright dangerous and they're pretty easy to avoid. Like there's one called the disciplinary directive, and that's a man who tells you outright, like, you have to wear heels when you're on a date with me, or you have to do this, you have to do that. He's already telling you what to do. He's going to become abusive. There's another one that I think is called Where Were You on January 6th? And those are the men who are clearly conservative coded. Those dudes are really easy to spot and block. But there are a lot that are far more nuanced. And so, women all day long are posting screenshots in her Facebook group, and people do rhetorical assessments. I've posted a few videos. I haven't done one in a while, called Red Flag Roundup, where I go through some messages I've received and I talk about the red flags that are there. I should really do another one of those. Though I've slowed down on the apps because I'm dating somebody, which is nice. But I do have a lot of screenshots saved. So maybe I should do one of those. Would you guys like if I did another red flag roundup? Was anybody here for any of those? Oh, Stuart, the red flag roundups were fun. Okay. If a man's bio is all about what he's looking for, then it's a big no. Truth. Yes, the bio should be about him, not what he's looking for. She's a good friend. Yes, if you're talking about Sunny, she is a very good friend. I think it's so weird when a guy won't call you. Like, I get people aren't good on the phone, but I don't trust that. Well, if you ask him to call and he won't, I would agree with you. Better alone than in a toxic relationship. Yes. And meanwhile, we all have to also learn to accept the possibility that we'll end up alone. Yeah. I know that is a possibility. I hope that won't be my reality, but it might be. I that is part of my journey in mid-flight right now. I very much feel this urgency. Well, urgency would be a bit strong, but I am very well aware that in about 2.5 years, my life is going to look very different. My youngest will presumably be going off to college, just like my eldest is going off in the fall. And then I don't know what I don't know where I will live. I don't know. I mean, I love Seattle. I love my home. Men should want to date me because I bought my house in 2005 and I have a fixed 2.5% mortgage rate on my home. So I don't know that I'm ever going anywhere unless I were like leaving the country or something. But I don't know where my corporate job is going. I think most of us who have one of those all feel that way. With the rise of AI, I don't know that my kids will be able to get work. I am hoping to build my creative life so that it can be what is supporting me and I can do this more full time um, over the next year. So I have all these things to figure out. And it is very much like, boy, this would all be better with like the right partner by my side. But the right partner is an extremely high bar. And yes, better alone than with the wrong partner. Hold on one second, you guys. We're just about done, but I can hear Kira is giving me this sort of bark that makes me a little uncomfortable. Are you hungry or do you want to go outside? You want to go outside. Let me open the back door here. The light is nice out this way. Okay, you want to go in the backyard? Door is shut. Go on out. Oh my gosh, it is nice out here. What does that say? Oops. Trying to read now on my phone. Um, touchless. I'm not sure what that means, Jason. You're just on my iPhone. And so uh, I'm going to finish up out here because it is like a magnificent evening here in Seattle. Do you see how nice this is? Um, yeah, I'm going to sit down. You have to see my crazy clematis here. It's like overgrown. The trellis is all the way down there, but it's like growing all over everything. But I love it. It no longer has flowers, but it's pretty awesome. You know what else is awesome? I have a bed full of, it used to have a bunch of herbs in it, but the only thing that survived was mint, and the mint took over everything. So I bought rum today, which I never do. And we're going to make mojitos tonight. And I have never made homemade mojitos with mint from my yard. But doesn't that sound amazing? What does that say? Nope, move on, Dana. What am I moving on from, Ashley? Not the backyard. I don't know what I'm moving on from. I may have to go inside so I can read what all of this is about because now I'm nervous. What am I moving on from? Yeah, mojitos. Doesn't that sound good? Hold on, while we're out here, I'm going to show you how much mint I have because you're just going to be like, whoa, that is a lot of mint. Okay, I have to duck under this tree. Look at all that mint. Do you see all of that? Ah, and a big, what looks like a crane fly in it. So there are going to be cocktails made out of that mint. Mint is invasive. I know it's in a bed. Uh, what I mean is, do you have a name for it? I'm having a hard time. You know what? I'm going to have to go back in because the dog's going crazy with the neighbor dog and I can't keep up with the chat. So hang on. We're going inside. Kira, you want to come in or do you want to stay outside? What are you playing with right there? Oh, okay. I don't know what that's doing outside. An empty container of Parmesan cheese. I do not know where she got that, but I don't think it'll hurt her. Isn't this exciting? Okay. Let me come over here and I'm going to look at the chat and see if I can read it. I'm sorry. I'm in a very good mood today. I think like 2 stories live this week. It is, and one of them is new. It is such a rush to me to finish an essay, like, and then to publish it and have people be like, "Oh my God, I so relate to this." Is like, it is a satisfaction like nothing else. And even talking about an older essay like this and having people relate to it, like it just fills my bucket. So thanks to you guys. I think it is so weird when a guy will, we already read that part from Ashley. The method is only for women who are looking for long-term monogamous relationships with men. Yes, burnt haystack that is what it is for. She doesn't allow men in. Stuart, this line makes me so sad. Hate to be a buzzkill, but either way, love fades even when we rarely find it. I'm sorry that has been your lived experience. That is hard. Paula says, Dana, you're a wonderful person. Thank you. The partner you're looking for is out there. Stay true to yourself. Oops, you're dating someone you like now. He must be special. He is. It's earlier, so shh, 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 shh. Casey, he could be on this live. That would be funny. Amy says, I have my vibrator, so I'm never truly alone. Girl, yes. Let me see here. Oh, Amy, does it have a name? Is it about the womanizer? Oh, that's funny. I love that. I feel that you're meant to be adored. I don't know if you're talking to me, Ashley, but I'll just say, yes, I love being adored and I love to adore. It's a very Leo-like attribute that I'm very affectionate and I like giving and receiving affection. Looks like a pickle with a spigot. You must be talking about something that was outside, or maybe the vibrator. I don't know. One or the other. You can read all about it in Amy's. Amy put a link to your memoir in here because Amy just published a book, and that is amazing. I love that. Yes to mojitos. Muddle that shit and have a great night. I think he's bringing a muddler over because I don't have one. I could only chop and use the back of the knife as a muddler, but Pim's cups I love Pim's cups. I don't have any Pims though, but with all that mint, that's going to be next. I do not get to in real life dates with guys who think they can control me. I immediately question jokes, comments that seem off or like negging. If he cannot appreciate my priorities and that he'll need to meet me where I am, then he's just done. Sounds very reasonable to me. The Maggie. Okay. I'm just skimming up here too. Okay. It's hard to tame a Leo. Wow. I guess so. I suppose so. This has been super fun. You need to calm down. You're a little riled up. This little dog is a little riled up. It's weird. Usually I say, come join me on the Daily Whatever show tomorrow, but Lawrence and I are in planning mode. So we are off air today and again tomorrow. I will be back on air with Lawrence and with Maritza from Grounded Podcast. And I'm forgetting how to pronounce her last name, so I'm not even going to try because I did not take French. But Grounded Podcast, she's amazing. That will be our Fucked Up Friday guest. And I will be going live again for Sunday's Salon. That will be with paid subscribers to I Write Out Loud. And I will be diving in and maybe giving a bit more backstory, especially about the secondary characters, Rex and Paul. Rex in particular has a lot of backstory that I think will be funny. I think we'll probably talk about the Blue Amp essay that I referenced earlier about how we're not underbabied, how we are motherless here in the US. As always, I would love if you read my essays. I would love if you comment on them and let me know what you think. If they move you in any way, I would love if you would restack them because that is how people find other people on Substack. And I am trying to get the word out. Amy, I think you're so cool too. I'm so glad I met you as well. I'm there's my essay. I am so in awe that you actually published your memoir, and that is a summer goal of mine. I'm going to be working on a book with my friend Liz, and we just need to carve out space to do it. I don't know how we're going to find it. Enjoy your planning day. I need to catch up on your essays. Thank you, Maggie. Yes, it's good. The day is good, and I would love your feedback on my essays. Okay, well, I'm going to sign off now and go see what this little dog of mine needs and maybe take her for a walk while it is still light out and beautiful here. Um, it is it is Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, right? Yeah, today's Wednesday. Tomorrow I'm off with Lawrence, and then Friday I'll be back on the Daily Whatever show for Fucked Up Friday. It is confusing when there's that day off on Mondays, but today is Wednesday. So I'm 99% sure that's true. No, I know it to be true because I know my parenting schedule. That keeps me um, on beat. So, love you all. Mean it. This has been so much fun. Also, my I have like we all have chats. I've been trying to use my chat more. So if you ever want to come just talk to me, I'm there. And I also before I had it set so that only I could post a new thread. I just opened it so that all paid subscribers can open a new thread. The only reason I'm not opening it to everyone is the Daily Whatever show went through this. They just get spammed so hard. And I don't want that chat to become a huge just spam vomit pile. So I've opened it to paid subscribers. So if you are one and you would like to post about work that you have done that you think would be relevant to this community, please feel free to do so. Don't post everything because if it starts getting really out of control, then I'm going to close it. But I am going to each week, hopefully, if I can remember it, do a post of like share something you've written or something that you enjoyed reading just because I think it's nice in communities where people can share their work. So be judicious with it. But I know some of you are wonderful writers and I want to see the work you're doing. So, um, mwah. So lovely to spend this hour with all of you. I hope you have a great Wednesday evening and more soon. Love you, mean it. Bye.